All right, and it should be all set. Might have to dump this behind me, but either way, welcome back. Yeah, we're gonna have to get rid of this really quick. Had to do a little bit of a reset there, trying to get rid of that, but it's thrown off the stream, so we'll go ahead and just get rid of that. I had a little bit of a audio error with my OBS. Looks like we fixed it. We're back. Here we go. Had to dump stream for a hot second though. Either way, it is incoming. All right, so Battlefield of Eternity. Let's get into this. On the left-hand side, we have Divine 9. There was a little bit of a panic at the start of this one, of course. Welcome back. I am Bahamut, your caster. We have a Nexus Gaming Series matchup on our hand. On the left-hand side, we have Divine 9, and on the right, we have Lurk Patrol. Now, we're going into Battlefield of Eternity. We did have Volskaya banned out by Divine 9, and we had Dragonshire banned out by Lurk Patrol. So, at this point, we're going to be going to Battlefield of Eternity, first picked by Divine 9, and we're going to have that Greymane banned out on the side of Lurk Patrol. Really, really smart ban because of the fact that he is just so good overall on this map. And I kind of talked to his strengths last night when I was casting on this map, but I'll kind of go over a little bit of that again. Basically, like, the big thing is, like, he scales throughout the game so well. So the fact that, you know, you can get him and just burn down the Immortal right at the start, and he's got good race, that's phenomenal. Vala is still strong, probably going to be one of the pickups that we're going to see from one of these teams, but Divine 9 going to be banning out that Sylvanas. I really like that, actually. ETC actually going to be first picked on the side of Lurk Patrol. That's a strong first pick, in my opinion. ETC... I absolutely love ETC in this situation, and it looks like we are starting. So delay is just caught up. Just trying to check my own stream right here. Sorry about all this mix-up right at the start. I just had a little bit of a hiccup with OBS, but it looks like we are all set once again. It's just some weird desktop hang-up. It's just clipping the audio. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can definitely see myself rip it. Yep, there. All right. Trying to get rid of the chair behind me. Maybe I just have to get a little bit brighter light. We'll find out either way. But going into these first two picks on the side of Divine 9, they already see that ETC doesn't show a whole lot of the draft. So realistically, just focusing on maybe the Immortal Burn and picking up your tank, or maybe you want a specific healer, that's the way you want to go. So Murden's going to be picked up first, and then I wouldn't be too surprised to see a Vala. Ooh. Now, first off, just have to... whoever's playing that Murden, come on, man. Either way, Hanzo actually being picked up here, something that I've been hearing people talk about, and a lot of discussion around the fact that he does have some Immortal Burn with that scatter arrow. So it's just one of those things that, you know, it might be a highly contested thing. And I'm also seeing that there's also an armor cooldown or an armor reduction with him as well. But holy crap, I can't even talk about the picks before getting into the next set. So we'll jump over. Lurk Patrol going to pick up that Lunara. Very, very strong for the Immortal Burn. Very strong single target damage, as well as when she has that Splintered Spear. Spreading that poison is going to be detrimental to a team, and just getting rid of that is going to be very powerful for them. So after that, picking up the Artanis, the blinds that you get from him are going to be pretty powerful as well. And then you also just have the Amateur Opponent, which has a lot of value on that Immortal Burn as well as the Immortal Race. So I really like the draft coming out of Lurk Patrol, but at the same time, Divine 9 showing some interesting, you know, early game picks with this Hanzo. So looking over at the band side, you probably want to focus on support, and looking at the Lunara, it's already been drafted. The Tyrande, not a bad idea. The Immortal Burn that it can add is very, very strong. Single target damage that you can just open up with, as well as the combination into the ETC, I think could be very strong. I don't know. Just once again, Lurk Patrol just going to take another Immortal Burn just out. And as well as, I mean, Vala is still strong. Like, these aren't just, you know, specific heroes for this specific map. They're great just overall in this matchup still. But it looks like Lurk Patrol, they have a draft set in mind. They definitely wanted that Lunara. Hanzo being kind of the probably the priority on the side of Divine 9. So I'm curious to see what they would be picking up in this next phase here. Probably going to be with the last pick being, you know, since they have last pick in game, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them pick up a support and their 4th man. So that's exactly going to be it. So we're going to see Malfurion in the Li Ming coming in here. Nice poke damage that comes in from her. The resets that you can get can be very powerful, but here's the thing. So far, ooh, I was going to talk about solo laners, or excuse me, the rest of the 4-man, because Artanis will be the other solo laner, and you know what supports are going to combine well with Lunara, but this is interesting. Alarak going to be picked up here. I really like that. That's kind of terrifying. And then we're also going to be having Alexstrasza popping up. I'm curious to see what we're going to be getting out of her at 10, if we're going to be having the and excuse my the dragon mortars, or you're going to actually have the life swap, which I really need to learn the actual names for it. But with that, and those were very like quick picks too. I have to say that was a definitive choice that they made there. It looks like they're going to be picking up this Malthael for their solo lane, and I'm not too opposed to this, honestly. Malthael in the solo lane I don't think is a bad idea at all, especially if he's going up against an Artanis. I think he does have a lot of value there, so that's a pretty good idea. No, I like it. This is an awesome draft so far. Well, let's get into this. Okay, all those. Okay. All right. So just looking up this matchup overall, I kind of want to give it over to Lurk Patrol. I really like their draft. It feels very menacing and terrifying, but at the same time, in the long run, I honestly think that Divine 9 kind of has this game. So, you know, early game, I honestly think this is Lurk Patrol, but in the later half of the game, I think Divine 9, they're going to round the corner and really start to explode on some of these guys. But either way, let's get into it. On the right-hand side, we are going to have Lurk Patrol with Manby on the Alarak. Ace is going to be on that ETC. FPS Nate is going to be on the Artanis. Radek is going to be on that Lunara, and hiding behind the car is Ektar, going to be on the Alexstrasza. On the left-hand side, we are going to have Divine 9 with Judge Bread on that Malthael. Axon on the Li Ming. Jason going to be on the Malfurion. Ribley on the Hanzo, and Dendi Smasher on the Muradin. Just slowly getting used to just getting back into casting. But either way, let's get into this matchup. Twitch chat, thank you for showing up. Odd Raised, thank you. And if my mod wouldn't mind throwing in exclamation point casting into the Twitch chat just to let everyone know that alerts do not go off during this phase, just so everyone knows. But either way, let's get into this. Axon will go ahead and just kind of poke from this back line, which is going to be pretty much the majority of what you're going to be seeing from the Li Ming here. And that's one of the reasons why I was interested about this pickup. But there is a huge pull in from the Alarak here from Manby. Going to get a little bit low on the side of Jason. Dendi Smasher going to be taking a little bit of damage as well. But they will be able to get out without a problem. Not anything too menacing. They're actually, excuse me, terrifying at this point. Really taking a little bit of damage from Manby there, but unfortunately not able to get that combo kill that he's looking for just yet. Just peeking up into the solo lane, FPS Nate going up against Judge Bread, and this is going to be, in my opinion, going to be held over mostly by Judge Bread. I mean, you can already see that even with shielding, it will be delayed out a little bit, but at the same time, that is still going to be a very strong lane for that Malthael, especially going into the Artanis. Now, back in this bottom lane, we currently have the majority of the members of Lurk Patrol. Ooh, doing a really good job here. We do have Dendi Smasher going to go ahead and try and get some stun, but it looks like they will be getting the first kill on the side of Lurk Patrol. That is going to be Manby getting that with that little combo that he was trying to pull on some of those members, and finally he found one that was just a little bit too far out. Could get that little burst onto them, and definitely getting that little bit of sadism up a little bit higher, as well as just, you know, a little extra experience for the team. Kind of pushes them up further, and it's comfortable to have. It's wonderful. Thank you to everyone showing up in Twitch chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We are in the first matchup here between Divine 9 and Lurk Patrol. Just to let everyone know that the first map ban was Volsky, and the second map ban was Dragonshire, but Ace taking quite a bit of damage there. Gonna go ahead and actually power slide in. Gonna get a little little bit of a disrupt onto Dendy Smasher here. They're going to engage a little bit, but going to back off. Not going to be trying to take too big of a fight, playing safe within their minion wave. And that's the important thing here, is that they see the minion waves getting thin and, you know, weaker. So they'll back off, make sure that they, you know, get the healing that they need from Jason, as well as making sure that they're just not out too far, getting caught out by, and, you know, potentially dying right as these immortals are going to be popping. Now, popping up back up into mid lane, or into top lane, looks like this is going over actually a little bit more even than I had expected it to, or at least how I had called it to. Overall, it looks like this has been pretty even. Actually, a huge swap going out, but FPS Nate actually going to be able to get out of there. The rotation from the team, though, at this time, are they going to go for a pick on Judge Bread is the big question. No, it does not look like it's going to be happening. So we do have him rotating down in with his team, and it looks like they're going to go for the protect at first. Ace going to go ahead and slide through. He's a little far from his team at this time, but no one really prioritizes the ETC. Cow able to kind of get away, but he's a little bit low, going to get body blocked by Judge Bread, and that is the kill going out. Now Manby in a little bit of a bad position, going to get stunned out, and he will be falling to the Li Ming there, so gonna get that kill. FPS Nate trying to disrupt Judge Bread, but it will not be happening. Now, at the same time, the other thing we have to factor in here is Radic had to go into bottom and clear out this wave, and the other thing is that Shaman camp is so powerful, it definitely can just ruin your entire lane. So making sure you do dedicate that asset is very important, but at the same time, they did end up giving over that fight, and they ended up losing out on this first phase of Immortal. Now, second phase will pop up from east to west on the, you know, damage side. So looks like we're going to go for basically just a burn on either side. This is going to be given over. Divine 9 should take this. They are kind of going a little bit slow on this, but overall I don't think the burn on the side of Lurk Patrol is going to be quick enough to kind of counteract that, how little health that was already there. So it's about a half shielded Immortal. Not the most powerful thing on Earth, but either way, it's still pretty big. Now, we actually get a little bit of a fight starting out here, and I can't see a lot of it. Huge healing circle going out from the Alexstrasza. Ektar definitely keeping his members up alive there, but there is a huge engage from the side of Divine 9. SPS Nate a little bit low. He does get the shielding, but he will be first to fall. Huge amount of damage going out onto Axon here. Will be getting that heal, but it is not enough. Li Ming will be falling here. Dendy Smasher will have to back off here using that hop, and actually some of these members are starting to get this chase, and Judge Bread a little bit low, not going to be chased and killed, but definitely far enough where he will be backing, and at this point it looks like, oh, actually Manby trying to get that extra little bit of kill, Ace sliding in to try and follow up. Dendy Smasher going to have to jump out at this time. Ace a little bit low himself, but going to get the heal from the Alexstrasza circle. Meanwhile, the Immortal at this time has been pushing that top lane, so gets the gate, gets the well. Looks like it'll do a little bit of damage to this fort, but it will not be confirming it. Meanwhile, in bottom, we do have FPS Nate, who is soaking up this lane, making sure that the XP difference doesn't stack too much inside, in favor of Divine 9. Just absolutely just all over the place right now. But either way, they're going to rotate up, and Lurk Patrol will go ahead and pick up this camp. I wouldn't be too surprised to actually, no, they're going to go ahead and potentially take an invade. Dendy Smasher does see this. It does not look like they are there in time. Getting a little bit of damage out from Ribley, though. And at this point, we do have the majority of the members swapping the lanes, it looks like. So we do have Artanis in bottom up against that Malthael, which looks like it's going over well for the Malthael down there. Don't really want to leave this fight in top. Looks like actually the Artanis went ahead and tapped well as well. Manby taking a little bit of damage from Axon there. Gonna go ahead and be able to just toss out a lot of that damage. Go Divine 9, alright. Twitch chat just showing up. Huge root out from Jason. Dendy Smasher so low. Ace low as well. He's going to be falling in the situation. Actually going to go ahead and get that reset, throwing out a little bit more damage there. And that's huge for them to go ahead and get that ETC. But they counteract it with Manby getting a huge combo onto that Hanzo and just basically one-shotting him right there. We'll back off and go ahead and prepare for this Immortal phase. Looks like also Judge Bread went ahead, picked up this siege camp, which will push up the bottom lane. FPS Nate will try and clear this. Well, he will clear this up, but Judge Bread will kind of give him a little bit of, you know, some difficulty with it. At the same time, the Bruiser camp is available on the side of Divine 9. Picked up on the side of Lurk Patrol, though. With Tens getting so close on the side of basically either team. They need to kind of play a little bit safe. They also want to side soak a little bit and also make sure that they do get their 10s before the opposing team, also just having that advantage in the fight. The other factor too is that we have this ticking time bomb in top lane with the Shaman camp that will eventually push into the gate. They will need to clear that. So once they show they will use this phase to go ahead and do that. And it is actually favorable for them. They will be able to rotate down back into theirs. Now Radek taking quite a bit of damage, gonna get knocked back by the Immortal there and hit by Dendi Smasher, but we do lose the Malfurion very early in this, so they do not have Jason for that healing, and it looks like they will be potentially getting Ace in this situation. He will be falling, but a couple of the members of Divine 9 are getting a little bit low. FPS Nate is the next one to fall as well, and even though they do not have their healer, they get 10s, and they start to turn on these members. There is the Gust back from Ektar, and it will be able to keep him alive. Manby gonna have to back off as well, but at this point this is probably going to be the Immortal going over in favor of Divine 9, and that definitely will be pushing that bottom lane, and it also has the Siege camp to stack up with that. Actually Alarak will probably be able to clear that in time, but either way this is still going to be the second Immortal going over to Divine 9. So at this point, I wouldn't be too surprised to basically see this. Ooh. I was going to say they're going to go for the split laning, but it looks like they put Malthael back in with the 5-man, and this is going to be a 5-man defense with a 5-man aggression. Swap does go out, and they get Dendi Smasher here, who does actually have... He does not have actually Avatar at this time, but there is Alex Raza going up and going ahead and just getting healing out onto her team, as well as some damage onto some of the enemy members. But at this point, they do get shoved back. That is a lot of the... ultimates used at this time. Now ETC does have his stage dive, but with the Immortal still attacking from range, this is very risky. Dendi Smasher taking quite a bit of damage, will be falling here, and this is when we start to see a lot of the turn coming out from the members of Lurk Patrol. It's so crazy, just the pull that this Alarak is just absolutely disrupting, and there was just the cleanse onto. It's so ridiculous how these guys are playing, and this. So we actually have these members just turning. They let the Punisher or the Immortal go up, and they're just turning this back around on the side of Divine 9. Like, this is, I keep laughing because it's just like this back and forth. I'm just like, oh, this team has it. They've got the chase, and then all of a sudden it's just like, no, never mind, no, we don't. We do have Axon, though, going to go ahead and dodge the swap there. Going to get a little pull from the Alarak, but overall, looks like they will be able to get out of there without a problem. Murda, thank you for the auto host. Just want to shout you out really quick. Really appreciate that. Now we do have the members of Divine 9 going ahead, and it looks like they will be able to burn this out, and this won't get them the 13s, but Stage Dive coming in at this time. We have the Leaping Strike over one of the members. There is the Tranquility that does come out from the Malfurion here, but the members are staying alive, but he is actually out of his teammates. He's not keeping any of them sustained with this. Now he is back, able to kind of give them a little bit of healing with his Q there, but at this time they get the clean back away, but at the same time they do burn a lot of their heroic abilities just to make sure that they get away from these members. So it's a clean disengage. They don't get the fort, they don't get 13s, but they burn a lot of their heroics. So it's a odd sort of trade, but at this time, realistically, that clean disengage not giving over the experience value as well as the game is big for them, and also getting this dismount that Hanzo is getting. It also kind of shows which direction they're going. Doesn't look like they're going to be too concerned about it. They're going to go ahead and stick together as a 5-man and start to work down this fort, make sure that they just really make sure that the retreat line for the members of Lurk Patrol is way further back. Now, they will go ahead on the side of Lurk Patrol and pick up this camp, which will go right onto this fort. And it is, you know, it's going straight onto it, so it's not going to be confirming it all of it on its own, but it's still going to be doing a decent amount of damage. It is something they're going to have to respond to, and that gives them enough time to rotate over here, pick up this camp, and just push that into top lane. And the best part about what they just did is they took a risk. It was a big risk, because if they lost that fight over at the opposing side camp, they would have basically been giving over 13s as well as pretty much a lot of the game control and pacing. What they did was they slowed it down. They picked up that camp, rotated back. They're not taking a fight. They're working around the 13 that on the side of Divine 9 has. So Lurk Patrol, you can see right now, they're poking and they know they can't take this fight, but they've got top lane pressure, and that's the big thing. So once they know that someone's going back for that clear into the top lane, that's going to be when they can take that advantage. They're going to make their move at that time. But it does not look like they're going to be even going for the clear at this time. The ETC goes ahead and uses stage dive. They say, we got to take the fight now. And it looks like the Malthael is going to go ahead and pop to Tormented Souls. A lot of damage coming out here. Malfurion will be the first one to fall. Malthael as well. We do actually have the Muradin falling next, and it looks like this is the fight that they wanted to take, and they won it over. Hanzo able to poke in a little bit here as well as Li Ming, but if they zone these members back, it is not going to be happening. Now, this is a very long road that they're going to be having to go down. Well, Ridley could just kind of poke in here a little bit. Now, there are also a lot of members that he is scouting out currently, but we can also see that FPS Nate and Radek are going ahead and just getting on this Immortal. And we do actually have Ridley just rotating around, making sure that he just gets another one of these arrows off. It looks like he will get the scatter arrow, and this is going to be just ridiculous. He gets the hop over. He does get pulled back in by Manby. It looks like he should be able to get out of there without a problem, but at the same time, they chase that away. They split the assets, and they were able to sneak in, and they get Ace here with the poison. Lunara's leaping strikes in, but there is no out, and it looks like that is going to be a double kill right as this Immortal pops, and they are out for blood. They're chasing Ektar right now, and if they can get this healer, this will be big for them. She goes right to Dragon Form. It is not quick enough. She goes ahead, and it looks like she pulls the members away from the rest of the team. They make the clean disengage, and then she just hops into Dragon Form. Now, granted, she is burning that cooldown, so she does not have that anymore, but we're going to see Manby going to go ahead and just body the Li Ming as they go ahead and try and make that rotation. So, smart plays out of the side of Lurk Patrol, but overall, with their members just coming back, this is actually kind of in their favor. That staggered death on the Li Ming makes it a very, very hard push on the side of Divine 9, so I really have to give that over. Lurk Patrol did a phenomenal pick onto that Li Ming, and staggering that death as their members are getting back themselves, that was just perfect. They only get the gate, and they're going to have to make this disengage. Looks like Radek really wanted this. ETC is going to go ahead and looks like he'll use the stage dive. Really wants this chase. Gets the dismount onto Dendy Smasher, but we do have a little bit of a fight engaging. We do have Manby getting that pull back onto one of the members. A couple of the members on the side of Divine 9 in this kind of trapped, rotational area. They don't really know which way to go because they're trying to, like, do we take the fight? Are we backing off? We want to play safe. It looks like they go ahead. They play safe. They get out. They still have the experience advantage in this game. And the other thing to note here is that bottom was so stacked up during all of that that it did push in, did get the gate there, I do believe, on its own, just over time from stacked up. So Judge Bread will go ahead and go in this bottom lane, pick up this camp, create more lane pressure, and in top, it looks like they're going to go ahead and make a rotation, potentially looking for a pick because they do have the advantage in this fight, and they do know that the Malthael is alone, so this could be a prime. He might be a prime target, but actually, no, this is definitely, they're looking for an engagement here. Looks like we do have the arrow come out from Hanzo. They dive right onto Ace. He will be targeted down, and he will be the first to fall. And with the kind of mercenary wave that they have built up behind them, as well as the camp on top of that, is nice enough where they could potentially push into this keep a little bit here. It looks like Axon kind of posturing very far forward, trying to make sure that they're getting that early damage out as this mini wave is now going to crash into the keep. And they could honestly get this and create a lot of pressure on the side of Lurk Patrol, because if you have that catapult pressure, it's just constantly, especially during these Immortal phases where you can drag them out. If you get this keep, it becomes a horrible game. A horrible game of just, constantly micromanaging your bottom lane. But they go ahead, they play the safe thing. Mortals do spawn, they jump right onto it. ETC is now back. Now all heroics are up on the side of Lurk Patrol. 16s are just achieved. They have the stage dive for the engaged. If they get a nice vision onto these members, they can definitely get a nice dive. But this will be the halfway point for the Immortal phase. Looks like they're just going to kind of play safe, rotate over onto their safe side on the side of Divine 9. Lurk Patrol still a little aggressively postured. Going to go ahead, and it looks like they'll go for the defense on their side here. So meanwhile that's happening, they're going to go ahead and clear out this top lane. FPS Nate kind of scouting out a little bit far here. Going to get the dash, going to show... That swap just a hair too late onto Malthael could have been devastating, but at this time, with the members of Lurk Patrol kind of playing this very safe defensive game, they want to control the next fight. They want to make sure that they do not lose. So they go ahead and they go, let's create some more pressure in bottom, pick up this camp really quick, our team's here, and we'll go defend around ours. And that's the thing. This is the point where Divine 9, they've controlled the game. They're going to have to dedicate one member eventually on the side of Lurk Patrol for that bottom lane. So as long as they play safe around their Immortal, they don't need to take an aggressive fight, but it looks like that's what they're going to be doing on the side of Lurk Patrol. It looks like actually Jason popping that healing a little early. Tranquility just going to be used there. It's going to be on the cooldown now. At this time, they do start to work on the Immortal a bit more. Actually, Hanzo's been working on it this entire time. They go in for the engagement, trying to make sure that they maybe get a pick here. Jason getting quite low. We do have the ETC going to go ahead and use the stage dive in, and we do have Malfurion is dead. We do have Judge Bread falling as well. Does Dendi Smasher get out? Axon is trying to get some of this pokes damage in. It will not be happening. Axon going to go ahead and looks like get a little bit of damage onto Ektar, but the other thing to note here is that, so while all this was happening, bottom lane, that's the Shaman camp that I had noted that created pressure. So they did delay that out. That is Catapult's bottom lane. The nice thing for the members of Divine Nine is, yes, they did lose 3, but this doesn't mean that they can just turn around and get a fort, get any sort of winnings pressure here, because the fact that they need to deal with this 18-minute Punisher, or excuse me, Immortal, and it's, it's not going to get the keep, especially with all these members. It is kind of late in the game. It is hitting pretty hard. It might be a little close, but either way, it's just one of those things. Is like, this still gives enough time for the members of Divine Nine. They're already back. Murden will be popping basically as the Immortal dies. They can go ahead and pick up this camp right as that dies, creating more lane pressure, and just overall, the pacing that Divine Nine is set for this game is really, really fast, and it's actually, at points, it seems like Lurk Patrol has them under control again, and they're able to push them back and, take these fights. But then once again, there's just some sort of asset Divine Nine has in a lane. It's pressuring, so they have to back off, and they can't get that siege value from a kill. So a lot of good plays coming out from Divine Nine, but it looks like they're going to split the members of Lurk Patrol here, trying to kind of sniff out potential gank as they're rotating across this map. Arrow does go out from the Hanzo, will not connect. It looks like Jason will go ahead and pop his Tranquility. The ETC will go ahead and stage dive in, taking quite a bit of damage onto a few of the members. Manby a little bit low here. Will be losing. Malthael will be dying, as well as the Hanzo getting the kill onto the Alarak, but it looks like Alex Strasser will be falling here. Radek a little bit low, could be falling with 5 health. Gonna get storm bolted by the Murden there. Ace is next, looks like, but actually FPS Nate gonna be, looks like he'll pull the team away, but also Axon just really wants this kill onto Ace. They definitely want to finish this game out. That is going to be the entire team wiped, and they're going to barrel down the bottom lane. GGs are called out, and this is going to be game number 1 going over to Divine Nine. GG, well played. Alaric's back, so he can take it, They go ahead and they get this stun onto him, but that's going to be it. That's going to be GG. They go ahead and they burn down the core. That's going to be Sky Temple. I love this map. I have a horrible win rate on it, but I think this map is really, really fun because you can basically just... You don't have to technically fight the other team at some points. Like, you could just play around the shrines. I mean, like, you do have to fight them, but it's an interesting map, and I really like the draft that you get around it because it becomes very global-centric, and I just overall think that's just a very, very fun, and it's a fun and interesting aspect of the game, just being able to just, you have Falstad Fly, you have Dahaka Burrow, you have Abathur. I mean, there's just so many different aspects to the game that you can get, so I really, really like this map for those things. And then just, some of the team fight aspects that you get, there's the boss throw pit, which you can see a lot of people throw on. So it's definitely something that they might need to worry about. But either way, we do have Divine Nine with the win here, but it also, they have the first pick, first ban. Gonna go ahead and get rid of that Falstad. Do not want to deal with that at all. And I don't blame them, honestly. It's definitely something that you really don't want. Just, it's good boss control, it's just good solo laning, it's good just global aspects, so getting rid of him, it's a positive thing on the side of Divine Nine. Lurk Patrol, though, gonna take out another global aspect. They're gonna get rid of the Dahaka here, so that is going to be pretty much the start of the draft. Is just banning out global heroes. So do we see a priority onto the Brightwing very early, or do we see a priority onto some of the heroes that maybe are a little bit stronger on a map like this, where you're going to have some more team fighting? Nope. Divine Nine going once again for that Hanzo. I actually like it. He offers so much. I really can't disagree with the Hanzo pick. Vision, dismount, poke, a stun, a technical global at 20 if you do go that way. Ragnaros going to be picked up here first on the side of Lurk Patrol, though. That's, I actually kind of like that. They're going to go ahead and pick up a very strong solo laner, and then they're going to pick up Lucio with that. Ooh. Ooh. Lucio, how you doing tonight, bud? Very, very strong heroes. Ender DS, how you doing? I see you too. The only thing I didn't do is, and I'm, apologize, but I'm going to let them know that is the Twitch channel, but I also didn't do broadcast, so I apologize. We're going to do this on stream. There we go. Unfortunately, Man B, your hi mom is not on stream, but I will read it for you. So Man B does say hi mom. My chair does block the chat. And ham from you too, Ribley. But either way, let's get into these last two picks before we go into our second ban phase. I really like the idea of picking up just the ETC, and Stukov would be, in my opinion, the choice, but maybe a Rhaegar instead, just for the chain heal in a teamfight aspect. Nope, they're going to go for Malfear, and once again, they're going to pick... This is pretty much same draft so far. That's interesting. Are they just going to go same draft? Just be like, this is the draft we win with? And we'll see. Do they ban this out? Do they ban out that Malthael? Because that Malthael was really annoying to deal with. I honestly want to say, like, there were some aspects of that Malthael that I was just like, woof, no thanks. No, a lot of good team fights that came out from him. There's also a lot of good that came out from that Li Ming too. The resets were pretty powerful. She does work on a map like this. Good boss control, or not boss control, good boss poke. Someone you're going to be banned out though. They do not have a solo laner on the side of Divine 9 yet. And getting rid of that very, very strong solo laner is not something I would really blame them for. She's not a hero that's really fun to go up against in the solo lane right now, and ETC is not it's the same kind of thing. It's a tank that I really wouldn't want to deal with. So I like the bans that have been coming out from both teams so far. Tyke is picked up real fast. Joanna. So the Joanna, I can completely see that. It makes sense to me, but the Tychus, I'm interested. I wonder if they think that they're going to be going double tank, so they want that percentile damage. Dragon Laser Drill is really good too, as well as Commandeer Odin. So, I mean, he does have a good 10 for fights, and he does have that drill for the boss, as well as just overall, just on the shrines as well. Hanzo. HOTS is the only game you can pick Hanzo and not get screamed at. $2,000 man, thank you. Yes, $2,000 man, you are not wrong at all. HOTS is the only game you can pick Hanzo and not get yelled at. So with that, they're going to be picking up Leoric here. It's going to be their solo laner, and then they're going to be picking up that Li Ming once again. Oh, goody. Yay! I get to be hypercritical of someone's Asmodan. No, I absolutely love. I'm a filthy Asmodan main. And I'll admit it now. Like I play it way too much. But either way, like it's just one of those things. Like I always like to cast an Asmodan game because it's like, ooh, it's just so much fun to see how other people play it, and just get a little critical of their play of it, and just be like, ooh, you took that talent. That's kind of interesting. I never would have thought of that. But either way, we'll discuss talents as we get through into this game. Overall, I mean, matchup wise, I'm not sure honestly who has it. The reset value that you can get from the Li Ming is big, but the thing is you've got some big bodies to damage that to absorb that damage. So that's the thing that you kind of have to worry about at this time is do they have an opening to get into that back line and actually get the damage and the resets that they need? We'll find out. Either way, starting at this matchup on the right-hand side, we have Lurk Patrol with Ektar on the Lucio. Ace will be on that Azmodan. FPS Nate on the Joanna. Manby on that Ragnaros. And Radek gonna be on the Tychus. On the left-hand side, we are going to have Divine 9 with Jason on that Malfurion. Ridley going to be playing that Hanzo. Accent going to be playing that Li Ming. Judge Bread on the Lurk, and Dendi Smasher on that Muradin. The good looks have gone out, and it looks like this is going to be a Taste for Blood Azmodan. So, looking at their draft once again, makes a little bit more sense to have that Joanna. But here's the thing. This is not a map where you're going to have typical mid to top rotations. It's not very conducive for that. Typically, I mean, it's just one of those things that Sieging Wrath, in my opinion, is the way to go just for the range buff. But that's pretty much the main note. Is that's my hypercritical, first choice. At least it's not laser build. But either way, we'll be checking in on those numbers as the game goes along here. A little bit of damage coming out onto Dendi Smasher there from Ace. We'll be able to go ahead and just pop right out without a problem. Peeking into the bottom lane, we're going to be actually having a rotation from the team. And it looks like Judge Brett is going to be trying to get out of here. He will be using that Wraith Walk to get out without a problem. But we are going to be having these 4-man rotations between mid and bottom, actually. And Azmodan probably going to be trying to get the stacks for his Taste for Blood there. Dunk Madan, yes. Ribley going to get just a hit on this rotation, but it's actually going to hit Ektar, which will just go ahead and only get just some damage out. Not going to get the dismount, but Dendi Smasher a little bit deep here. We'll get the dunk onto the lane from Ace. Going to get those stacks once again. Dendi Smasher a little bit low. Some of the members just kind of getting the clear and backing off, and I really like that they're getting the clear, backing off, getting the clear, backing off. And Judge Brett a little bit low here, potentially could get rotated on. They are taking a little bit of an advantageous rotation here. They get a little bit of damage onto him. The laser goes out, and Lurk is the first one to fall in this game from Lurk Patrol. Dunk goes out. They get the clear, and they will go ahead and probably make the rotation once again. Do not think that they'll be staying around for another fight. Peeking into the top lane, though, we will go ahead and have Manby going up against Axon here, and it looks like this is a pretty even matchup at this point. But overall, I think Manby should be coming out on top of this overall as we get into the later half of this game, especially with the fact that they do have the experience advantage in their favor by a little bit. But overall, also, he does have quite a bit of damage, as you can see. And the aggression level from the Ragnaros is quite high, and I really do like seeing that coming out. So at this time, we can just kind of take a peek at some of the talents here, mostly because of the fact that they're going to be making these rotations. We might catch a kill here and there. It does not look like it'll be happening, but overall, it does not look like it's going to be anything too out of the ordinary. We do have dominance out of the Li Ming, so it's going to be a level 4 talent that I don't think we often see. We do also have Azmodan going into the mana reduction, I believe, on the minion. Yes. And then we have, looks like Ragnaros is actually going to be going in for an alteration on his 4. He's going to be going for the upgrade on the Fire Ward. So it's interesting. But overall, it looks like both of these towers, or excuse me, these temples are going to be held over by Divine 9 at this time, while they just make rotations on the side of Lurk Patrol. And that's one of the things to note here is that they have this very, very strong team, but it's a very, very late game team in what you would call a very early game meta. I mean, a lot of the thing is, if you get a lot of this momentum behind you, which we did see in the last game from Divine 9, this potentially could be, more favorable in the side of Divine 9, but we just see Lurk Patrol put the words right back into my mouth. They get a kill onto Dendi Smasher there, and they'll go ahead and get this shrine captured and go ahead and get some shots over in their favor. Now in top lane, it looks like they did back off of that, but they will go ahead. Jason will be going ahead and clearing this out. Should be able to get the last shots off of that without a problem. Manby going to go ahead and get the vision here. Dunk going to go out and just making sure that they get a little bit more of those stacks. And it looks like he is nearing that 100 mark. So with the speed buff that he's going to be having at 7, that is going to be stacking up quite a bit. Lucio going into that boombox, or excuse me, the not boombox. That's the other talent that is at level 7. Oh, in the mix, right? Party mix. Either way, he's going to be going for that. Going to be stacking that up quite well as he rotates with his team, especially in the 4-man. But also getting a pick onto Dendi Smasher once again. Pretty big on the side of Lurk Patrol here. And this game, you know, I have to say that they are making me eat my own words, because these guys with this rotation they're doing a phenomenal job. They are getting a lot of stacks on the Asmodee. They're also, you know, keeping the experience in their favor. Now, at the same time, their forts, you know, their lanes are opening up a little bit more than Divine Nines. They are more structurally sound, but at the same time, if they get to 10s first and they do have those huge stacks onto the Asmodee, he will be clearing so much quicker. He will be just getting so much more value, and as well as getting a lot of damage in that backline from those Blackpool dunks that he will be getting in about a level here. So Ridley going to go ahead and just get a scattering arrow out. We do see also that the next temple is going to be bottom lane. So seeing also a little bit of just priority into this with the siege camp, making sure that they're going to push this up and as well just have a little bit more control. The nice thing on the side of Divine Nine is they do have this gate opened up, so if they can push into this and weaken that up, it's going to be harder for the members of Lurk Patrol to take a fight and, you know, have that retreat distance, and it will also put them closer to 10s on the side of Divine Nine if they do go for that. But with these, you know, guaranteed rotations, it won't be happening. And actually, the other thing to note here is Jason went up into top lane with Axon, and they go ahead, push back Ragnaros. Manby going to have to go ahead and have to kind of play safe and back off there, and that will be the 10s that they need on the side of Divine Nine. And this is pretty big for them. We do have the Wave of Force. It looks like Entomb, Avatar. I do not know the name off the top of my head. Dragon's Arrow, and it looks like Tranquility. But 10s are also achieved on the side of Lurk Patrol, so we do have Blackpool, Break It Down, Blessed Shield, Lava Wave, and also Draken Laser Drill. But FPS Nate a little bit deep here, going to go ahead and use the Unstoppable Dunk, going to go out onto a few of the members. There is the Tranquility that's going on to so many of the members. There is the Dragon's Arrow that gets the stun into a couple of the members, and they are starting to body them currently. Draken Laser Drill getting quite a bit of value, but unfortunately not the value that they're looking for, and they push these members back. They're going to go ahead and put one of the members onto this point. Ridley taking the dunk right there and going to take quite a bit of damage. Going to have to back off, but this should be held over on the side of Divine Nine, and they will start to split off into their lanes, maybe getting a little bit of extra soak. Ragnaros going to go ahead and actually go Molten Core, take a little bit of this damage, which will actually save it. Axon going to get killed by the Tychus, but also going to be killed by the Malfurion there. Lava Wave also coming out from Ragnaros. He is a little opposition. There is the route that he is able to get around from. He actually will be grabbed by it. Break It Down is a little bit too slow, not able to save Manby there. And also, meanwhile, during all this, we do have Judge Brett, who went ahead and captured the entire fort. It looks like they will go ahead and capture the bottom, or destroy the bottom, but that dunk from Ace doing so much damage, almost getting the kills onto one of the members guaranteed and lowering them quite a bit on the other couple others. What a phenomenal matchup. And just think, he still has another 320 stacks that he can get, and that's just more and more damage. So overall, I mean, the Asmodee stacking can become quite devastating as this game progresses here. But it looks like we do have the members of Lurk Patrol backing off a little bit, getting a little bit more, you know, lane presence or lane control for themselves by getting this camp, which will push out in the top. They can leave the Ragnaros up there with that. She can push into the Li Ming, who's been showing. Meanwhile, we do have Ace going ahead and just kind of dunking some of the lanes, pushing these up, getting more stacks for himself. And overall, I mean, this is a very, very strong match for Lurk Patrol. But the thing we have to note here is that 13s have been achieved on the side of Divine Nine, and with that, that's pretty big for them. They could potentially take a fight here, but the teams rotated across the maps. It looks like they do show a lot of the members in top, and they actually start to chase down Ace here, who is rooted. He also gets hit with the Dragon Arrow. Isn't even able to get damage out because he was just stun locked for so long. They go ahead and pick up the siege camp, and it looks like, I wouldn't be too surprised if they just moved over to the boss right now, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Li Ming's still poking up in this top lane. They get the fort guaranteed, but at the cost of double siege camp and a boss. As long as Axon can get out, that's the big thing. The boop does go out, it gets over the wall. There will be the Blessed Shield that does go out, but at this time, the members of Divine Nine made the quick and decisive call to go ahead and pick up this boss after killing Ace over at that siege camp. So this will stack nicely with this huge siege camp in bottom lane. We're also going to be having the boss timed out as well. And then, just on top of that, just a little cherry as well, they'll have two of these temples that are going to be spawning at the exact same time. So a lot of the members of Lurk Patrol going to have to Hearth at this time. Can Hanzo get a potential... I thought he was maybe going to do an interrupt, but not going to be happening there. Now, with bottom captured over by Dendy Smasher, they will have the vision from the boss as the team burns it down. So they'll be able to get that for quite a bit of time, maybe at least half to 3/4 of it. In top lane, they will go ahead and throw a couple other members to make sure that they get this as well. And they're going to start having quite a bit of damage heading their way on the side of Lurk Patrol. Dunk does go out from Azmodan, making sure that he's getting those stacks from that minion wave. And they are starting to run down the bottom lane. Looks like Dendy Smasher will go ahead and do the smart thing. Run right out of there. Get out before he just, wastes any sort of life. And the dunk went out for the potential dismount. They go ahead, they pick up this bottom. But at the same time, the majority of it was picked up by Murden in the bottom lane. So looking over at the core area of Lurk Patrol, it is getting damaged quite a bit from that top lane altar, and it looks like they'll get a little damage out of this keep, but it won't be confirming it. Meanwhile, on bottom, it looks like they do have the altar going to be finishing out this. Oh, excuse me, it was the last of the shots did go out to this fort, and the rest of the team will be going ahead picking that up. But they go and actually hearth back this Li Ming, kind of try a little far forward. Axon potentially going to get caught out here. Ace will get one of the Hellforge minions out. But at this time, it looks like they're able just to kind of clear this wave, get more stacks onto the Azmodan, and just Axon's able to get out without a problem. FPS Nate going to be able to side soak some of this experience as well. Not the best choice for it, but either way, getting that closer, getting that those members to 16 is very important, as well as the Condemn, as we just saw for the Azmodan's pretty big. But with that, they do know where these members are, so they are going to start to chase them. FPS Nate, a little far out. They're not going to turn onto him, actually able to get out. Dunk does go out from Azmodan. That's about half of Li Ming's health. The other thing to note here is that we also do have the Hanzo finishing his level 1 talent, questing talent right there. So that is another damage buff for him as well, I do believe. And Tomb going to go out. It will not connect onto FPS Nate. They aren't able to pick that up. But at this time, they do really want to siege onto this keep and make sure that they get the first catapults going in. Dunk will go out and take out quite a bit of damage. We do have Lurk going to go ahead and use the Wraithwalk to make sure that he gets some of that damage mitigation onto a few of the members. There is the Tranquility that does go out from Jason here onto so many of the members. There is also a Lava Wave that gets quite a bit of damage out. Hanzo will leap over and get mounted as well, trying to poke back in this retreat. A lot of scattered arrows coming out. The Dragon's Arrow does come out as well. Jason so low. He is killed here, and that is going to be the first kill in this fight, but Lucio will be killed next. Now we do have Tychus falling after that. FPS Nate is a little bit low. Will he be the next to fall? Lucio, yes, he will. The Leoric actually chasing that down. Ace is going to be the next member to fall, and with that we have 4 members falling. The altars are about to spawn. Now granted, bottom is a little stacked up, but Malfurion can pick that up as he spawns, and overall they are going to get this free keep, probably able to separate themselves onto the 2 altars and get the majority of that over for themselves. It's just this bottom lane needs to get cleared out right away. They don't want this to stack up too much. Now, granted, there was a buff to these towers. You can see that they're doing quite a bit, but here's the thing. Their health is not the highest, so it's one of those things that they are going to need to worry about. Meanwhile, though, Rag will try and do the best thing that he can. Manby going to go ahead and just push up this lane, get a camp, play the safe thing here. It could be a little risky. The members, if they weren't showing on a global objective like this where, you definitely they're shooting. He knows that he can't get picked off, but a little aggressive positioning here on the side of Manby, maybe seeing that if he can just pick off Jason on his own. We do have a couple of the members backing off from the rest of the team that did just pop up, and Lurk Patrol is on this altar phase and just... or is he going to slam? Is he going to jam? He is, I got to say, Ace is slamming and jamming, but unfortunately... Actually, no, I was going to say, unfortunately, they're getting pushed in by Divine 9, but at this point, I mean, it is in favor of Divine 9, but it's still, here's the storm. This game can still go over in anyone's favor. We do have the majority of the team kind of grouped up in this bottom lane. Looks like they do want to siege onto this keep, create a little bit of lane pressure themselves. Do have FPS Nate kind of... Dunk does go out from the Azmodan just to kind of push them back a little bit. We do have Ragnaros going ahead and using that Lava Wave in top lane. That will buy them quite a bit of time here now that they do not have to deal with the catapults that were stacking up. Azmodan going to go ahead and get a dunk into there, and that is going to be pretty big for them. Dunk does go out. Sorry, I was looking over at chat. I got confused by something, but either way, I think it's fine. These members, though, on the side of Lurk Patrol, they've kind of changed the pacing a little bit here. Divine 9, they're just like, you know what, we just need 20. We'll play around that. And Lurk Patrol, they're just like, we can push up these lanes, and we're going to play a little aggressive. And this is Very, very aggressive. Are they faking or are they no, they're faking. They're positioning around this looking for a potential pick, but it is not going to be happening, mostly because they see that the Li Ming is in the top lane, making sure that they're pushing that back. Lava Wave is on cooldown, but at the same time, they know that they can take a fight because Li Ming is in top. Break It Down is used quite early in this engagement. They are starting to chase a few of the members. Break It Down has expired now. Judge Bread able to get out of there. The dunk goes out. They get the dismount onto the Dendy Smasher before he really can get it. Meanwhile, though, Axeman has rotated back up into the team at this time, and it's realistically the fight that they pulled there, especially with the Break It Down being used, is quite a bit. Axeman gonna go ahead, actually huge. Ragnaros going ahead and using Molten Core right away, so they do not have this for this potential defense that they might have to deal with from the members of Divine 9 if they do get onto this temple here. But at the same time, they do utilize it for the sieging value that they can get. Murden in the bottom lane at this time, though, making sure that they are getting closer to those 20s, trying to get that value so that they can at least, you know, have this 20 advantage for the fight. And if they have that, it's going to be a different game for Lurk Patrol to deal with. And that's exactly it. We actually have Telrosh Elements on the Li Ming. Entomb upgrade, we do have Rewind on the Murden, the Dragon's Arrow upgrade, and we also have Lunar Shower from the Malfurion. So Ragnar's going to go ahead and utilize the Lava Wave in top lane once again just to make sure that they push that back. It's also going to give them quite a bit of an experience bump as well from those stacked up waves. But now at this time we do currently have this temple hitting the core, and it is not taking away any sort of shielding, but FPS Nate a little bit far out, trying to get the Condemn onto the Li Ming there. Dendy's Smasher a little bit low. The Entomb does go out, and it is currently going to be silencing these members, I believe, as they are in it. We do have the Break It Down used. FPS Nate so low, gonna be able to pop the Iron Skin. Actually, I believe that's the Indestructible that was used, but Li Ming gonna be the first one to fall in this fight. Man, be a little bit low and also very, very deep. We do have the Ice Blast coming up from Jazon here. Judge Bread gonna be dead and just trying to slow these members down as they get out, but that is gonna be 3 members falling on the side of Divine 9. Ribley taking quite a bit of damage from that. Asmodee and Donkey also going for the slowing on the Blackpool at 20 there. Also Lucio going for the bonus track at level 20. Ribley a little bit low here. Will he be able to get out? Blinded is going to be happening. Dunk goes out, and it looks like this is what I was talking about. It's anybody's game. I honestly was about to say Divine 9, they definitely are going to be able to take this game, but at this time, Lurk is the only one back. He is able to entomb and silence, and that's really it for now. For now, he is able to just Wraith Walk out. We do have Ragnaros going into the Molten Core form, but at this time, we are going to have the core falling. That is going to be game number 2 going over to Lurk Patrol. So we are going to have this series 1-1. That means that each team will be getting 1 point overall for their cumulative, I guess I would call it. But overall, GG, well played.